Friday. Do you know where your IT pros are? We don't. It's Matt and Switch. And two guys who couldn't make it as psychics. Boy, did they not see that coming. It's Hatch and Switch.
We're in. Good.
Really? I don't know. How does this It used to work fantastically. Like we used to be able to come in here and do this whole thing.
Just 75 minutes to get the people plugged in.
I think it took 75 minutes.
Hey, stop it. Stop it. Sweet. Where's the comfort monitor? Where's the view? I can't see if we're live yet or not. Or anything.
You get no comfort.
It's a little stripped down in here, but it's not a bad thing.
It'd be nice if they paid the bill for electricity. Right now we got the generator outside the door. Be able to get these lights working.
It's pretty peaceful around here.
It is. It's eerily silent.
Yeah.
I forgot how silent this room is.
Yeah, this room's very dampened, but I'm talking about campus as a whole.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Driving around campus is a thing. And I'm here all day. Like I have a bunch of meetings and so forth. But I think for the most part, the folks I'm meeting with, they're coming in
just to meet you
for the meeting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So they were keen on we're having coffee here and there. Like I'm going to be bombing all over campus today. It'll be kind of fun. But
nice.
It's really, you know what you can get? Parking.
I know.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And who are you, by the way, sir?
I have no idea.
I don't know who he is. This strange person in the room here just talking with me like he knows me or something.
Do you really think the audience at home needs to know who's sitting next to me? I don't think so. Rick.
Hi.
Well, you guys are properly logoed too.
Nice. We are. We well, there's the branding police we have to deal with.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
I think I have a Run As shirt somewhere. It's been a long time since I've worn. I should probably drag out a Run As shirt.
You know what? I think Run As Radio needs to make branded merch that will be Pacific Northwest plaid.
Nice.
Pacific Northwest plaid, short sleeve versions for the summertime and spring.
When would I ever wear those?
I mean, that is the Canadian spring shirt to wear. The short sleeve plaid,
100%.
And then have the logos on it.
I like for me, Pacific Northwest is cargo shorts and Gore-Tex shoes because it is still raining, right? And your feet, you don't want your feet to get wet.
It's the only place I know where they did a GoFundMe to be able to build waterproof sneakers.
Yeah, you go. Yeah,
based on the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, get feet wet is bad.
Are you gonna check that?
I'm gonna check that.
Jared's here.
Okay,
what's going on?
Yeah, apparently we're grainy.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
jeez.
Yeah.
So, Aspen Forester are doing the 4K police or something.
I don't even think we're 4K.
No.
Yeah. I think we're streaming in
640 by 480.
Yeah.
1080 on the.
Nice.
Well, that's the stream.
Nice.
We don't know how much is coming through.
Buckeye J Flow says it might be Richard's mic that is grabbing the focus.
I think it might be that little thing.
Could be that little. Oh, that other one.
Yeah.
Oh,
we can move
yeah. That's the problem.
We can move that.
Is it because autofocus is on? Who turns on autofocus?
Did you unplug it? Oh, good thing.
Well, it's unplugged now.
That mic was running the whole show.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now the audio's bad. Nice.
It says that you're hot and quiet on the mic. It's because you need to get up in there.
What do I got to do? Do I got to go in like this more?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, I'll lift it up. I'm not used to this podcaster quality mics.
Yeah.
I'm a streamer mic. I'm
He's
a
used
Wave
to
3.
Not having quality.
Yeah.
Well,
Wave 3.
I'm excited to see you guys in person. I guess we were together in December.
Yes.
When we were all in Vegas.
We have to work on our timing. Like normally we have this lag we have to deal with when it's on the web. Now there's no lag.
It's weird. Everybody talks at once and we'd all hear each other.
I know.
What's that about?
I actually felt uncomfortable not letting somebody finish their sentence completely. I don't know how to make this work.
I don't do anything live, so I don't worry about that. The editor will fix it, right?
Yeah,
they'll separate.
They'll fix it in post.
That's it.
There is no post here.
No. You're seeing post.
Yes.
He posts things sometimes. I wonder if I keep waving at the camera, if it'll see that that
you'll get more focus
on us. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're back in the studio. We're back in the bunker. They were vacuuming earlier.
Yes.
They were not using a normal vacuum. They were not using a shop vacuum. They were using the ultra shop vac because I think there are about 9.5 inches of dust and cobwebs in here because this place hasn't been hasn't seen a person
And
in 3 years.
they actually added that to our invoice.
Nice.
So vacuuming
Did
has
they?
been added to our invoice.
Oh, well,
Um,
that we're not paying Jared
yeah.
again
So,
this year.
Jared does not get paid this year. Done.
We should say hello to Buckeye Guy, J Flow,
Yeah.
to Aspen Forrester, TRP 8472 at his post as normal, Vizio MVP there as well. Chaos 13.
Mhm.
Who else have we seen? We've seen Aspen, absolutely. I said Vizio MVP, didn't I?
Yeah, you got him. You
Okay,
got him.
cool. So that, and Jan, he says, welcome to the bunker.
Mhm.
It's like welcome to the jungle, but without getting slapped with a lawsuit by Guns N' Roses.
That's good.
Jan,
I remember
Jan
you
asks,
last
"Who is
week
this rich
saying.
dude?"
I remember you last week saying how hard it is to read all those names off, and
Very hard.
He does rip through.
Well,
them.
see, but he constantly has Twitch online in his background music in his
Right.
day job, so he just is used to seeing other streamers say these weird names and just makes it up on the fly.
just knocks it out.
It's good.
Or I'm really good at what I do, but
Maybe.
that's okay.
We weren't going to go there. That's kind of crazy.
That's
talk.
true. That's true. Hey, we've got a good friend from the UK. It says greetings from a wet and gray UK. It's Womblegooner.
Ah, it's a good.
I
name.
love that name.
Nice,
Womblegooner.
nice.
That's a great name. It's wet and gray here too.
Yeah, well, because it's Seattle.
Yes, welcome to the Pacific
And
Northwest.
it's not the end of July
Did-
for 2 weeks.
Do you know what I forgot? I
Your
forgot
badge?
No. Oh, yes, I forgot my badge. Thank you. But every time when I come into the office, which is infrequently now, I would always go and I would get 2 coconut waters.
Right.
I love
Did
the
you not
coconut
get your
waters.
coconut
I
water?
did not get my coconut water.
Do we have to get an
Um,
assistant?
Jared is already busy, and he would probably throw it at me if I asked him, or
You're
throw
not
something
wrong.
at me.
You're
So
not wrong.
I'm just gonna have to pass without the coconut water.
Oh
today.
well. Maybe
So-
we can get one at the commercial break. Oh wait.
There, it's like the
Listen, rub it in that we
Yeah.
don't have sponsors.
Yes,
Okay, pal.
just
Listen.
because when we're doing an interview with you, it's like one moment we got to have a word from our sponsors, and then it's like pause, 2, 3, and we're back. It's like, how do you get the commercial break cut in so fast?
It's because it's
Fix it in
edited.
post
Yeah.
because you have editors.
True. Now at Windows Weekly, which I've been doing lately,
Uh-huh.
Leo does all the ad reads and he does them live, but he does the camera cut. So the moment the camera cuts away from us, both Paul and I are like, it's just a 3-hour flipping show. right? So it's like I got to get some more tea and I got to put some tea back. Like that's the thing
Yeah.
you do, and then you get back in the chair.
Oh my.
TRP 8472 is in sunny Yorkshire. It's gray and overcast and raining though.
Mhm.
Green out places. Sarah's in Yorkshire right now.
Oh really?
Visiting?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
I'd like to be in Yorkshire. I haven't been in the UK in 3 years, which is odd for me. I was there. I used to go every 2-3 months.
I have been in the UK twice in 6 weeks, so
Okay. Well, I'm jealous.
Rub it in, man.
I'm jealous.
Rub it
Yeah,
in.
just
I'm,
rub it in.
I'm working. You
Rub it
know,
in.
You're working.
period.
I'm working here.
I got to
I
do a
was-
show as the run as guy. I went to Sequel Bits in Wales.
Oh.
Which is really fun. Like,
Yeah.
we had such a good time, and that's a lot of data people. It's like 1,000 plus folks.
I did the sequel bit show actually when it was in London
Yeah,
at the Excel Center out
what
there.
a nice
way out
group
there.
of people.
Yeah,
you know?
it's a good
ton of
show.
fun.
It's a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah, but boy, do they take their databases seriously.
They do, and their shows are very themed.
Yes.
So we had the Dungeons and Dragons theme. this
Oh,
year.
they had the Western theme at
I
ours.
love it.
Yeah.
And we were in Wales, so there were dragons everywhere anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. One thing you don't want to do at that show is make Fox Pro jokes.
Nope,
They
nope,
don't-
not
they
a good
don't go over
idea.
well. No, they're still using it.
Yeah.
SharePoint Madam, good morning to you. Let's see. Aspen Forster says we're expecting snow this evening in Minneapolis.
Oh man.
Mhm.
Then spring again. Yeah, so you get the spring whiplash stuff that's happening there.
Yeah.
Absolutely heading back to the UK in 2 months. First time for 6 years. Airfare was frightening. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Though I was looking at potential Australia, just
Just because you want to go.
what it would potentially look like if I went a certain time of year
Mhm.
and booked certain far out, and it's actually only about $600 US more than what it was when I was going on the
Mhm, it's
regular.
all right.
So it
Interesting.
seemed to be okay.
The challenge, of course, is you bring the whole family, and suddenly that's a bunch of airfare.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Okay.
Much to the chagrin of my oldest, who is just dying to go to Australia.
Yeah.
But yeah. Hey, should we start the show?
Why not? What are we talking
Can we
about?
go live?
Is that camera? The camera is on. I see the red tally light.
Well, there you
Yeah.
go. All right.
Oh,
Currently-
okay. So I guess we should start. We should start the show.
Right on.
With
Are we
the
supposed to go live? I'm sorry. I can't.
Did you
Yeah.
press the start button yet?
yeah, with the first segment of the show, which is from the trenches, the things that we're doing in our daily lives. You've been traveling,
I've been doing
conferences,
traveling, but I got to tell you, I finally turned off my exchange server.
Sorry, what?
I finally turned off my exchange server. I truly did.
Well, because it was 2013, it was going out of support, right?
No, I have a 2016.
Oh, okay.
But
They were about to start blocking your mail, you realize.
well, this is a huge topic, right? And the funny part is, as someone who's running an exchange server, totally get it,
Mhm.
because the amount of exploiting that's going against the exchange server right now is stunning. And
Yep.
so I actually closed the ports months ago
Mm.
because I pretty much moved all the workflows off. I had one domain left, and I was trying to figure out how to piecemeal it out for people who are using it. And then what I ended up doing was just DNS forwarding on it. I went to DN Simple, which is my favorite provider, no sponsor, and I was able to flip it over to forwarding, and there was like 5 addresses, just redirected them to some of my accounts and somebody else with a Gmail account.
Yep.
Done. And not unhappy. Like just one
last thing to
less
manage.
weight on your mind.
One last thing to manage.
Yeah.
So yeah, glad to have it off.
Hmm.
Bye.
Nice. Now, was this some of those domains have been around for like a long time?
Yeah, long. Well, I have I own ga.com.
What?
I own guh.com, registered in like 1996.
Guh.
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 Look, listen, there are no 3-letter domain names
No.
in .com left. I get asked if I will sell it like every day.
What would you do with it?
It's a portable DDoS attack because it's been on every spammer's list for like 30 years.
Right.
If I point the MX record of ga.com at an IP you care about, that IP is broken. That's 5 to 6 million spam a month. It is nonstop.
Wow.
So, but yeah, I have a couple of email addresses in it. Like but I have so many accounts signed up with that because it's my junk email address, right? So there's hundreds. People are offering me real money for it, and I'm looking at the disentanglement cost to try and give it up. And it's like, no, I think I'm going to keep it. Thanks.
Yeah.
I haven't got enough time in my life to untangle myself from that domain.
AZ Cloud Elf says, "What are you going to do now on Patch Tuesday?"
Yeah, well, watch all the workstations twitch, because the next thing that happens for me, retiring active directory from the house entirely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I just built a new workstation for She Who Must Be Obeyed, and a new one for me, but twin sets of parts, and built them out. AAD'd them, never joined them to the local domain.
Yeah.
So it's the beginning. Just migrate that up.
Where are all your files?
On a Synology now. Well,
Okay.
and actually not on this. I'm going to copy on the Synology. Then I pushed them up to OneDrive, and then the Synology has a sync back, so I can keep a copy local but work from OneDrive. That's been the plan so far. So if something happens to the E5s or whatever goes on, at least we have a local copy of everything. But that's sort of been the progression of retiring file services and each piece bit by bit.
Because that's always going to be the harder one of things to have to deal with, unless
Yeah.
you go with the solution like a OneDrive or cloud-based things. Like otherwise, what you're going to be using like local accounts on your Synology when you attach up to access the files. or
Yeah,
what?
basically that's what you end up doing. But and I only have one user to support right now. Granted, she knows where I sleep,
Yes.
but and so you have some priorities around all of
oh
that.
yeah.
But
But
she's actually quite technically competent, right? Like she actually needs a better video card than I am. She's doing 3D renderings of clothing designs. Like that's her business. So she needs a lot of machine, and she cares a lot. She shares files all the time. She's working with different companies, and they all use different files. So she's been used to cloud file share for ages. So she's very capable in all of that, and very particular. So but not having to run a VPN, not needing fixed IPs. Not that we're there yet, but we're on that path. But I'm looking at that old AD instance. I upgraded that from a PDC in 2000. Like I have the cruft of the entire evolution of Active Directory inside that directory.
I am physically sick to my stomach hearing that, knowing what potential.
So if that was
vulnerabilities are
Microsoft
there.
stuff, that would be what they call the NT-Dev. NT-Dev
Yeah,
is like
that's
the oldest
NT-Dev,
AD
right?
that happens to be around.
Yeah. No, I have front page extension accounts.
Oh my.
No, okay, all right.
Okay, you've got to go.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go Gadget 360. Hey, welcome to the program. Synology says Synology's OneDrive support is very nice, and it can back itself up to Azure storage as well. Jay Foot chiming in saying he syncs his Synology to a blob in Azure, spends less than $10 a month for it. guess that I need to add a Synology to the build for the new place?
To the bucket list.
Yeah, I've been of all the hardware I would have
Is
in
this
the
cable
home.
important or something?
It's your power cable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
Of all,
kicked it
of
out.
all of the power I'd have, the devices I'd have in the home, I gotta say nice things about Synology.
Gotta say,
Without
yeah.
a doubt.
How much storage are you using on the Synology?
I have
17 petabytes.
Yeah, I got the little 4-drive rack mount because I still have racks in the house,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's just 'cause I'm not running servers on it doesn't mean. So I put 4 12 tears in it. So
412s.
so it's like 28
doing RAID
available.
or yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I can put a second chassis in if I really need to because there's 16 tear drives now. Goodness knows.
Are you using spinning rust?
Yeah. At that size,
I don't know,
you
man.
You know how much a 12 tears is a
Yes.
fix? Like,
Get some Intel Optane drives or
Yeah.
something like that.
but
Not
again,
sponsored,
the
but
important
would
stuff's
like to.
backed up. But we love our Plex server, right?
Yeah.
We've got lots of stuff we've collected up over the years and so on. So she swears by that. And Plex on the Synology is phenomenal, especially if you get a 920, because the 920 has a hardware decoder in it.
Mm.
So
Oh,
if you're
okay.
into video,
Okay. Yeah.
use video on Plex, Synology 920. That being said, I have an 820 plus because I got the rack mount one unit, and it's mostly for file storage and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think if I were to do something, it would be mostly for file storage. I think the streaming thing is fully attached into place.
Yeah.
And I don't know that
You have
we
solutions
much.
to that problem,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. There's already solutions there.
But it's Dockerized. So if I want to run my own
Yeah.
DHCP, DNS, like
Yeah.
all of those things, it does a good job of that. Yeah, Docker on a local device, powerful. Like for folks who've got their head around it and use good tools around it, and just be aware of doing the updates, like be responsible for all the things you need to do.
Yep.
For a single device, you're really utilizing it well. Like you'll get a lot of value from that.
Man, oh man.
What have you been doing?
It's making my old-fashioned 2019 headless core install a server look a little bit slim.
And a place
capabilities.
that I've come from, right?
Mhm.
And some of these stuff I've used, and I got talked into by other very geeky folks, like
Right.
take a Synology out for a spin. And after you get used to it, you're like, that is pretty slick. Like,
What have you been working on? We kind of merged beer money in this.
Yeah, I know.
but
It's like,
okay.
well, you know, he's,
well, not beer money, but
he runs
random
multiple
spending, but
businesses
yeah,
out
we
of his
talked
house,
about it,
so
yeah.
he's, you know,
I guess
it's
that's
all
true.
work
I guess
related.
that is it is
all that
it is
stuff's in
true.
the cloud now. I mean, what you're really seeing me is me getting out of
Ah,
Out of you're getting off prem.
Yeah. Well, you know what happened? I had the generator tested.
Yeah.
And it was down. It was stable at only 3,000. This was a 15 kilowatt generator, and I bought it in 2003, which, by the way, makes it an ancient artifact. Right?
Nice.
These normally have a 10-year lifespan.
Mhm.
There's like one guy left that'll work on that thing, and he brings the kids with him every time. It's like, check out the ancient artifact. And so we finally had to. He's like, we're having problems with the coils and stuff. It's old, right? And he's like, well, why don't we do a load test on it? So he brings in this big box. It's basically a pile of resistors with fans. And we load it up, and he loses stability at 3,000 watts. Like
Oh.
this generator owes
That's
me
not good.
so I have to rewire the generator panel to take load off of it.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, as soon as I get around to that, but let's just switch the generator off so it won't cause trouble. That was 18 months ago. That thing ain't turning back on.
Yeah.
That's
That's
now
done.
now it's just a lump of metal.
Oh man.
GoGo Gadget 360 says he has a 918 Plus. It was a nice upgrade from Windows Home Server to
Oh, wow.
virtual DCs to no DCs.
Yeah.
So-
Love me some home
Do you remember
server.
the home server
That
book?
was such
Man,
good
I remember the
days,
home
man.
server book.
The
That
little-
mommy
the
there.
little- mommy, what is a server book?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever that is.
Now I'm
Yeah.
looking up on the
There
shelves
should
like,
be
is
one
there a
here.
home server up
Is
here
there one?
somewhere?
There
don't
should
see
be
it.
one.
here.
There should be, but
I thought I donated it, but they must have taken it out.
I've got one at the
Must
house
have taken it out.
still.
I mean,
Yes, I remember the home server book. It was absolutely brilliant. The internal code word, the Q server is called.
Yeah.
Back in the day, testing that kind of stuff out. We've also gone with the Plex. So again, I've got a blog post where I talk about installing 2019 headless. Got my drives in there, storage spaces, and then also having Plex installed on top of this headless 2019 box. It works, but it's probably getting long in the tooth, like you
Yeah.
said. My spinning rust is getting a little bit old. Probably should go off and replace those.
and that's really the real catalyst for this was that pair of servers that I had built a pair of symmetrical servers back in the early 10s to practice with symmetrical load transfer between VMs and so forth, like do it yourself back when the cloud was still very, very young. And then after about 4 years, like everything that turns in that chassis is a hazard. So I replaced them all. All the fans get swapped out.
Yep.
All the drives get swapped out. Well, now we're there again.
Yep.
And it's like, are you really going to buy another set and do this again?
Mhm.
Or are you going to grow up and turn these dang things off? So
So what's next? I mean, what's next for the shutdown? Is
it's, letting those machines go cold, going completely AAD.
Yeah.
Synology as the back end services in the house.
Mhm.
I've moved the We're finally getting fiber into my neighborhood, so I'll be able to go fully. It's crazy that I've never had it. I've always had multiple internet connections in the house because I've been a beta tester for every ISP in the city, which is pluses and minuses. Like it results in lots of fun stories, right? Like often because you're in a beta test account, you're not in the normal subnet when they go commercial,
Right.
and you often get forgotten. And
Oops.
so, yeah, weird things start to happen to your accounts.
I've got some fun stories about my internet stuff going on. I don't know when they do that one there, but work-wise, my team's actually been asked to do some Windows Server 2022 videos.
Thank goodness.
Back in the day, right? Like it's amazing. Still going off to do some of those things. So we had a meeting the other day talking about the ones we should be making, how to handle it, feature sets, evaluation, stuff like that. Just kind of giving a little bit of a love to Windows Server 2022.
I get emails all the time from folks saying, "Can you do more 2022 shows on Run As?" Because it's not like we're not still running servers, right? But it's hard to get folks to talk about it much.
So we're going to be doing.
I can get Ned Pyle out once in a while, but he's also going to tell me to shut off SMB1, and I believe him.
There you go. So we got a bunch of that stuff coming up in the near future. Stay tuned for more of that.
You were just in the hottest of Atlantas.
I was in hot Atlanta last week when you were in Yakistan.
So when I spoke to you on Thursday before you flew out,
right? That was a regular one-on-one.
You did not have a session built.
They're in the chat room. They can hear this.
They know you.
Yeah.
What actually ended up happening? What ended up being your session? Because when I talked to you last year, like, I don't know.
It was awesome.
What was it?
It was absolutely awesome.
Do you remember?
Let me pull it
Fair
up.
enough. You pull up your slides.
It was on chaos in IT.
I love it.
And it was simply
so
about,
the show.
It was kind of modeled after the show, but it was simply talking about the speed of change and how change is obviously chaos, but change is normal. And then going through and looking back at capabilities that you have if you came into the world and were working on stuff that was on premises, if you now have adapted and now doing stuff in the cloud, if you're doing hybrid, that sort of stuff. But then more so around, what skills are essential to bring from all of those together. I mean, it's the kind of talk that you and I have done before in different areas. Slightly new twist to it was simply introducing and talking about some of the newer technologies that are starting to influence things, and obviously bringing in the lovely AI.
Just sprinkle a little AI on it,
to talk about that and becoming prompt engineers and being able to do stuff with fun stuff in patch and switch GPT, large language models. Can you imagine if they took all the transcripts of these shows?
We would entirely. I think it would break the model because the amount of nonsense that we speak on this show.
Let's just say there's a term that I love in AI. It's an official term. It's actually called AI hallucination, and it's when it doesn't know what it's supposed to say, and it can't really come up with the proper, which algorithm is the best word to come next in autocomplete.
You get a low probability response.
You are correct. When it starts making its own citations, right? Yeah. That kind of stuff for stuff that doesn't happen. Anyway, so I talked about AI a little bit as well, but then it was awesome. It was to the Atlanta Cloud Conference was what it was called. Right. It was a spin-off from their developers conference, and it was just basically on cloud stuff. They had a good, I want to say, 24 or so speakers that were there. It was done on the campus. I forget the name of the university, but I know the colors were black and gold. But it was in Georgia Tech. It was in Marietta, at Georgia.
So that would be Georgia Tech.
So I was terrified driving on the highway.
Why?
Because it's like 9 freaking lanes, and they all split off and go in different directions, and the signs are painted on the road, and you got to pay attention. It's insane, but up there. Stayed at
the scary part is 9 lanes and nobody's going anywhere.
Well,
right?
yeah. Well, no, actually, it wasn't that bad because I arrived late at night when I finally arrived and made it down to the hotel, and then came to campus when I needed to. The navigating the campus was going to be a little bit daunting because generic Apple Maps, Google Maps, Waze, whatever it is, takes you to the center of campus,
right?
And then it's like, where's building Q? Like,
by the way, they got all the way to Q.
I know. So luckily the organizers had these signs that were like, arrows pointing in different directions. So you just follow the arrows and you get there. So that was all good.
Building 7 this way.
Building 7 that way. So awesome time with the keynote. Met a whole crap ton of people. Had a whole bunch of hallway conversations throughout the day. Then I had a session at the very end talking about hybrid specifically with Azure Arc, Azure Stack HCI, talking about specifically the hybrid. And that one there I called Mind the Gap.
Mind
for
the Gap.
Nice.
For the edge. And I started off by basically saying, let me break it down and tell you what Azure Arc really is and how it works, because it's an umbrella term of a bunch of different things. So I shared some insider information with how it came about and what it is now.
Yeah,
but
there was an acquired product in it somewhere.
Probably.
Yeah.
But at least it was going to be a product that was built by 4 separate teams that were in silos.
So everything will be great.
It'd be perfect.
You know what they
Integration.
should do? Put a portal on it.
Oh, make a portal.
Yeah,
That could work.
add another portal.
That could work. So I was speaking. It was awesome. It was hot. It rained, scared the crap out of me with the rain at night, woke me up. It's been a long time since I've heard of a big thunder shower
Right.
come through.
Oh, see,
super
that's
fast.
the best thing. That's the best thing.
And then I find out that like not long after I left, I think they might have had a tornado
That's
or
weird,
something.
that part of the world.
Like
yeah, there's been some crazy
they had
storms.
the
and stuff.
first time I've actually seen like a tornado shelter
Yeah.
signs inside the washrooms, inside the buildings, and
Right.
stuff like that.
You obviously weren't paying attention to the convention center in Orlando that we were at all the time.
Yeah, they had a bunch of them.
Oh,
Does
and
it?
Atlanta. When we were in Atlanta, at
Atlanta
the
had 'em.
convention center there.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did
Oh
Ignite
yeah.
there.
Oh yeah, we did Ignite there. Like remember that was
People
I
tell me
think
where
that
to
was
go
the
normally.
Yes.
I think
People
that was
tell
the
me where to
Red
go.
Bull and Donuts keynote watching Patch and Switch experience.
Was it?
Yeah. Was in the Hotlandas. Yeah.
Yes, but
Oh, wow.
your point's well taken. I get in a taxi, it drives to an airport. I get in a metal tube, it
Yeah.
makes a noise. The metal tube stops. I'm in another airport. I
Yeah.
get another taxi. I'm in a room.
Yeah,
Somewhere.
people.
Yep.
And the people that tell me is called Trip It. Like
Yeah.
literally, it
Yeah.
tells me exactly what my confirmation numbers are, where I have to go, what the addresses are.
Yeah, that's-
Otherwise,
that's
I'm
the
lost.
life. I have
So
no idea.
I can't get my wife and my rest of my family to buy into it though. Like I'll make like a holiday schedule and I'll put it all inside Trip It, and then no one uses
Nothing.
it.
She
No one uses it.
likes the calendar feed from TripIt to her calendar, so
Yes.
she sees my stuff.
Oh yeah,
this side.
That's
I
yeah.
hook
she
that
likes
up
that.
to our family calendar for
Yep.
sure,
Yeah.
but no one follows it. Still,
Okay.
I did get my youngest. I've got twins, so they're both the same age. So I guess technically she's not my youngest. She's my middle child by 1 minute.
There you go.
I got her to reload. We use Cozy at home, and she reloaded on her phone because she is a new entry into the crazy cat lady world. She is now the proud owner and mother of a new Russian blue
Servant.
servant
Of a-
to the cat.
Servant to the cat.
Servant to the cat.
How did I not know that Grace was a minute older than Ella?
She is 1 minute older because
There you go.
Ella's the youngest child.
Oh.
She has the same attitude that I have. Because that's what Kelly says.
She is your daughter. That's
I
for
am
sure.
the youngest child of my family, and she is the youngest child of ours. But yeah, so I got her loaded into Cozy again, and then now she is actually using it to put entries like vets and go buy cat
Nice.
food and go for the appointment in 6 months for the spaying or neutering or whatever it
Yeah.
is for the boys. So yeah, that's a step up in the right direction. Speaking, first time speaking in quite some time in person, which was awesome. And then some really cool stuff with Server 2022. And we're probably going to branch off and do a bunch of stuff specifically around end of life, because we got end of life for 2012 and
Mhm.
2012 R2 coming up in 9 months or less. We
Wow.
did
More
whole
than 10 years
tours
old.
of content
Yeah, we
about
did.
how to upgrade from
2008
2008 to 2012.
Yeah, to 2012. Yeah, 2003 even. I think
So,
we went back
so
to it.
we'll
That's
be probably reinvigorating a lot of those migration stuff.
You know,
for
we
the next
still
little
get
while.
comments on the YouTube video because
Totally.
I get the messages and
Yeah.
and it's a new comment on this migration video, and I'm like, you're just now migrating.
Yeah.
It's gonna
surprised.
end of
You should
life.
skip a couple of versions.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Just go up. Just go up.
Yeah.
Please do. And don't forget, you can only do in-place upgrades for N+2. That's it. Don't do an in-place upgrade unless it's at least the oldest it can be is N+2.
I just debate and plus upgrade full stop, right? Like, come on, his new hardware, anything that's that old,
Mhm.
the gear is old.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You should,
Yeah.
you're probably taking, traces eventually fall off the board. Ask me how I know.
Yeah.
You let it go.
You got it, man.
Yeah.
That's me. That's me. That's it. How about you? What you been doing?
So MS Secure was this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the team was, I was not involved, but my team was involved. So Rod had a session with some folks, Learn Live session on the Sentinel stuff. And then, of course, I'm sure everybody saw the announcement around Security Copilot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that was super cool.
And can I say how good the Copilot name is? Like as a brand,
It's,
because it reminds us all we're the pilot.
We're the pilot.
right?
It means more than like naming everything .net.
It did,
Or Defender.
.net
Yeah.
server. .net this.
we have
.net
we,
SQL.
we've lived through a lot of bad branding experiences,
Yes.
all of us. This is not one of them.
Okay, good.
This was-
Defender for Copilot, Copilot for Defender.
Yeah.
R2.
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 Service Pack 1, Update 1.
Community edition.
Home version.
Oh, Data Center Edition. Let's go. Come on.
Page 2.
So we've been so the team has been working. We've been investigating, the connection with the team and how we can expand things there. And obviously, the big push around AI is looking at how do you secure AI? How do you do it? How do you do AI securely? Then how do you leverage it both for good and evil?
Yeah, I don't know how much you guys are pushing on this language, but I've been fighting hard against not calling it artificial intelligence because it's full of mythology and science fiction.
Mhm.
And plus, we only tend
So
to
what do we call it? Star Trek?
well, you call it what it actually is, right? Like artificial intelligence is the name of technology doesn't work. As
Yeah.
soon as it does work, it gets a new name.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
It becomes
yeah.
vision systems and object recognition and speech to text
Got it.
and large language models.
Yeah.
We're talking about applying large language models
Yes.
to particular areas of expertise.
Mhm.
What I really dig about Security Copilot is it's what an experienced security person does when dealing with an event where we're looking at a situation. Go through all of the service bulletins, go through the checklist. Like the fact that it organizes all it for you, like the biggest thing I see with Copilot is that most of us are doing part-time cybersecurity, the vast majority.
100%.
And this is your Copilot for the few minutes you have to focus on that problem.
And it spits out the report, it spits out the PowerPoint that you can take to the pointy haired boss. It does all of those things. I think the way I look at the Copilot stuff and the AI and the natural language stuff is really about kind of how we approached cloud in the beginning, which was it helps eliminate some of the things that you've been doing
Yes.
forever and ever and ever. And it's time to stop doing them. So you talk about, you're getting rid of that old
cutting
stuff
away
because
some of that crap.
you're patching it all the time. You're doing all
Yeah.
those things. And you're just moving away from that to really get to the core of what you need to do. And when, like you said, the bulk of us, unless you're inside of one of those Fortune companies with the big
You're lucky
cybersecurity
enough to be a
team,
specialist.
you're probably just doing it accidentally,
Yeah.
right? I've talked about the
You were the
accidental
guy
thing.
closest to the tinfoil hat when the last guy quit.
Nice.
So now it's your hat.
That's pretty much it.
In my keynote, I talked about my origin story and asking people what their origin stories were. And my origin story literally was dot matrix printer guy looking after a whole room full of dot matrix printers
Yeah.
and having one of them break down and fixing it by jiggling the cable to get the printer to work
Yeah.
again.
Were you also the guy who could translate the Japanese English into this is actually what this means? Because I remember reading those.
Oh,
It's
man.
like this Japlish is not good.
Yes.
Like, what does this mean?
Yeah, so
Manuals.
a lot of the work again in Security Copilot, very early stages. It's gonna be a while before we start to see.
And IT folks are conservative, right? For a reason,
100%.
right? Like change is good. You go
Mhm.
first.
Mhm.
So I see a lot of them pushing back on all of this and like, don't think this isn't a hype cycle, right? That we are definitely on
Of
that Gartner hype
course.
cycle and the trough of disillusionment is coming. But so is the plateau of competence. So you can't just ignore it. Just don't get too sucked into the hype. Look at the pieces it does and what it doesn't do. Don't forget your fundamentals. The fundamentals are still the fundamentals.
Yep.
And you can get value from this.
Yeah.
Just, ignore a lot. If it's noisy, it's probably wrong.
I call the we'll call it by the bucket umbrella name of AI is the fastest 20-year overnight success.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right.
Well, and the kernel of all of this is 100 million users on ChatGPT, right?
Mhm.
Like
Oh, yeah.
that was it wasn't the
It-
first thing that OpenAI put out, but the fact that in 2 months, 100
Yeah.
million people decided to have existential conversations with a piece of software
Mhm.
is interesting.
Have you seen this one video that I've seen online of the holographic 3D teddy bear, which is they're calling it Teddy Chat GPT, which is powered by Chat GPT, but then it has the movie Teddy or
Ted,
Ted
yes.
as the voice of the teddy bear,
That's
answering
that's
you questions, and you simply press the
fab.
button and you say, "Yeah, can you give me a hand about understanding what the next verse of the song happens to be?" Blah 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 blah, and then he thinks about it. And he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that is so and so from the whatever it was, and they had a great band on this." And it's like this 3D animated,
As if we
talking teddy
weren't
bear.
already anthropomorphizing too far as it is.
It is absolutely awesome. So
That's
I'm like, I want to have one of those. You just have a little anime character that's on your desk. You can just have you know what? I got a couple minutes between meetings. So what's the
You know what's hysterical is, remember like 6 months ago when Google and Amazon were talking about how all their voice systems were losing them tons of money and they were going to cut back on
Mhm.
spending them all. And then all of a sudden, we haven't added voice to it yet, although there you are describing it. Here's this whole new language system emerging.
Oh, dude, like
Did they see it coming?
press the button. Hey Siri, help me out. Blah. Okay, Google, help me this. Like,
Yeah.
hey Alexa, like all of those when they get hooked up to the back end.
Now
with
that you
something more
fired
natural,
every single listener off,
Yeah.
well done.
Yes,
Great,
that's,
thanks.
he does that on purpose. He tries to find a way to do it every show. Let's just be real. That's what he does.
Alexa, buy Synology 920.
You're-
Ship to
You are
Patch and
bad.
Switch, 1 Microsoft Way, Redmond, Washington.
Now you're going to get us
98.
in trouble.
Oh,
Please
You're a bad
cancel.
man.
Cancel.
Why do we have 16 boxes? Because only 16 of the 22 listeners have Alexa.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. So I've been spending some time around, going through some of the MS Secure stuff, and then, yeah, I'm going to call it out. It's been a hard week. I have had a lot of
Yes.
friends that, if you're out on LinkedIn and you're searching through my network, there's a lot of open to work folks that, in the identity space. And we'll just kind of leave it at that. It was a really, really, really hard week for me because it was the team that I was a former member of. So, and I work with them very closely still. So
I think our friend Sonia did this the right way in one of her
Yeah.
internal chats, and she's basically said #fuck layoffs.
yeah,
Like done.
Yeah, I'm
We're
with
done.
you. It's painful.
There's no beep. Sorry, I didn't have it beeped.
no, it's all
So
right.
it's
I
good.
think in this case, we'll let it slide.
Right
We'll
on.
let it slide.
Yeah.
Right
But
on.
Yeah. I mean, the good news is they have an incredibly valuable skill. There's lots
Yes.
of opportunities out there,
Mhm.
but it's got to be hard
Yeah.
Mhm.
and it's terrifying. And this guys sitting on the outside of this rolling layoff thing, it sucks.
Mhm.
Yep.
Like how long? It's bad enough to hear about it and then it happens, but the maybe next week and next week, like how demoralized.
It's pretty much every conversation that comes from him.
We have a standing agreement that
yeah.
we'll text each other.
Haven't
I haven't
heard
got
anything.
haven't got an email.
Right.
I haven't got an unknown meeting.
I
Yeah,
I
it's a
It's a
preface
random 8 a.m. meeting.
and I preface every opening chat
with anyone on your team.
Hey, heads up, I just want to chat about nonsense.
Yeah.
And do you have a moment?
Not about your career.
Yeah, this is just me because I came up with a crazy idea and I want to talk it through.
Hashtag not about your career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I pinged you yesterday. I'm like, I need beer money help. So yeah.
That's a good transition that can work.
Yeah, we
Right,
could.
you know.
But that it was like I planned it.
Nice.
He clever like that.
I'm a good. I actually am
is
pretty good at
skilled.
hosting.
He's got
Yeah,
he is
I'm
skilled.
actually pretty good at it.
Yeah.
He is-
Hello to Dave from Crush Networks.
Nice.
Good to see you. He's in Mexico.
Well, that's got to be tough.
Yeah, I know that must be hard and difficult.
Mhm.
At any rate, so let's talk about Bear Money, which is a support we do for our friends, our families, friends, sisters, uncles, cat. Now, apparently,
Mhm.
you're
Cat,
doing,
the
you're
cat
doing
will be
Bear Money
very
support
high
for the
tech.
cat.
I'll share with Random Spend one of the things we got for the cat, but that's later.
It's AI powered, isn't it?
I'm not talking about it.
Everything now. So everything
I-
now is about shutting down my existing environment. You've done Beer Money for me.
Yes. So basically, I was going to say that your beer money has been interesting that we had the chat yesterday about, and we're
Mhm.
still continuing to have this ongoing conversation.
It's building out of the new homes networking infrastructure.
So
I presume ubiquity.
in Q1,
100%, yes.
So basically, in Q1 of FY24,
Yes,
he will be moving into new office space.
I will.
Right, and it will be in the Vegas of Loss.
Yes.
The losses
The
So
Loss
we
is
got
in
about
Vegas.
9 months to put this thing
together. Yeah.
Racked.
Mhm.
And so I brought up the floor plan. I've actually put the floor plan into the Ubiquity system to understand where I'm going to get
Mhm.
areas
Good
that
signal,
may
bad
need.
signals.
Yep, exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I guess it's always about materials too. Like if the
Mhm.
building's all concrete, that's a different can of worms
You
from
got
a
it.
building made of wood.
Yeah, and then interior installation versus not.
Yeah.
So
So my wife has offered her services for assisting with this because I don't know if you know this. She's the program manager and project manager for Nike.
Oh wow.
And her job is handling the project of AV load in and tech load in for all the new stores.
Wow.
And they like, so they have color coordinated racks. They've got different amounts of stuff inside of those racks based on the size of store. So she can set you right up, man, and make sure you don't miss anything. If you
no, it's basically going to be me going in and plugging it all in unless I can convince you to come down on
there's
your
no,
birthday.
there's no vendors you got to bring in. What?
No,
What's that
no,
about?
I can't afford that. I can barely
I
afford
do
the
like
ubiquity
little
gear.
compact rack units too. Like there's some really beautiful ones.
So I'm looking at a little 6U,
Yeah.
6U guy. I'm debating. Do you get the one that's enclosed with the fans, or do you just? It's going to be in a storage closet,
So
and I
that's
had
enough
them
insulation
run
as it
6
is.
feet of extra cable,
Yeah.
so that because I've got really tall ceilings, so
Right.
it can go up high.
Yeah.
Tall guy, tall ceilings.
Yeah, I don't
Makes
have
sense.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not a problem for you.
No.
I mean, I'll have to get the
His
step
storage
stool, but-
closets are 12 feet high because he's 9.
Right.
So
That
gotta
So
have the space.
I've done I've got 2 different rack spaces in my house. One of them was when the old servers, which ran really hot, so I actually put it on an exterior wall and put a wall shaker style air conditioner in it. I originally looked at doing a split, but those had continuous duty cycle, lasted about 10 years, and they were like $2,000. The wall shakers are not 100% duty cycle, but they're like $300,
Okay.
and they last about 3 years before you burn out the scrolls on them. So I just buy them. I'd have a spare off season, swap them every few years. Worked out fine.
See, he's
The other one I did totally because it was for the media gear, which didn't run near as hot, where I just put vents on the bottom of the door, and then I had a vent going out, B vent into the attic. So at least there was a place for the air to go, and that was enough and totally passive.
natural chimney to
Yeah.
be able to go and pull
To
that
draw
off. 'Cause
out.
He was contemplating going with the glycol system, like he would be using for beer for being able to
Dual
do
use.
stuff. Dual use.
Clearly,
Yeah, I mean,
But-
you've got the
but-
glycol to cool the beer, and
Yeah,
then
so
to
just
cool
it-
the
Open up an actuated solenoid to be able to go in and divert the path over to the servers once in a while.
well, and you know the hot air is going to be used to heat the water.
It's a hot liquor tank. It's
Yeah.
perfect. It's perfect.
My server closet is a heat exchanger.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, at least we convinced him to go with a short depth rack. He was going to go for the full
The
size,
30.
for the
Yeah.
full 30-inch
Yeah.
deep to be able to fit in the pizza boxes of servers he's got to have in there.
You can get 20-inch deep pizza boxes if you really want them.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with the pizza boxes is those 18 millimeter fans, because they sound like jet engines.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
Well, if I get one of those, if I get one of the enclosed boxes with fans, I'm going to swap it out for a nice PC fan. That's
yeah,
very
you go
quiet.
buy a bunch of
Yeah.
Noctuas and pay
Yeah,
the
that's exactly.
$40 a piece for
Yeah.
good quality 140 millimeter fans. Make all the difference in your life.
A little adapter, but
Yeah.
The ubiquity gear that I'm not too worried. So basically, what's going in the rack is going the cloud. Sorry, what do they call that? The main controller
The
unit.
UDM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Dream Machine SE because I want PoE.
Right.
I will do most likely so this was the debate 16 versus 24 port. And do you go pro?
Right.
Or do you just go with the one that's just PoE and
Yeah. It's
how
always a
much
question
management?
how many ports you put in the house.
Yeah. And
I've
so
got 140, but I'm special.
Yeah.
Right?
So I have 14
Fiber downlinks
drops.
between them all.
There are 14 drops, and then there's going to be a couple of extra because you've got
You need
controllers,
extras.
and so on and so forth. So I thought 16 port switch plus the 8 that's on board on the Dream Machine that
Yeah.
should give me
Should
plenty.
probably get
I
through it.
could go 24, but then I'm thinking that's a lot of unused, and
Yeah.
I know it's only $100.
Well,
more,
then once the
but-
walls are done, like you're not putting that many more in,
Mhm.
right?
yeah. So we're probably going to go with the 16 plus the 8 on board. It's probably going to be good. We were debating on patch panel. We were talking about do I patch panel or not patch panel?
Yeah.
And the type of patch panel that we have going in. We were chatting about that. And then I'm going to have UPS.
Oh,
And
It-
we were
it-
having the discussion of rack mount UPS versus non.
Did you use the rack nuts that I gave you?
I
Going
have to
forward?
order those.
Those
Yes,
are awesome.
I have to
Yeah,
order those.
Absolutely awesome. They're PVC or plastic,
Right.
but they punch through. There's no longer having to break your knuckles trying to get the old-fashioned cage
Oh, I
nuts into
hated
there.
those. I hated
And then you
those.
screw on the end. They're so nice to be able to do it, and they can actually hold a significant amount of weight.
Yeah, they're sturdy.
So they're quite sturdy and
Yeah.
easy to do.
Go Gadget says, "Look, we all love you. No need to port change."
Yeah.
There you go.
So UPS wise, he was like, "Oh, maybe I'll get like a little rack mount one to be able to do it." I'm like, "Dude, that's going to be so freaking heavy and
They are heavy.
overkill." So I'm like, "Just go for one of these." Then I gave him a link for like a 6 plug APC, almost like a desk, like it sits on the desk.
Yeah.
It looks like a little,
But like 1,000 VAs.
not even that. It's like
Yeah.
600,
750.
Yeah.
750,
I think
850.
The only
whatever
thing
it
is get it off the floor.
Yeah,
Just
so
nothing
so
dumb
it
happens.
has
Yeah,
it
it's
has
gonna be
two
up.
it has two hanging hooks. You can basically just hang on the wall if you wanted to with
Yeah.
a couple of screws in the drywall, or you can put it on a shelf on the
Yeah.
other.
I've
that's all you
done
need.
I've done the rack mount thing in a short rack, but then you also need to anchor its back. Like it's fussy
So
and for questionable. You pay a substantial premium for the
Yep.
form factor.
Yeah, and I noticed that after you sent me this, and I'm
Mhm.
like, well, this has everything that
Yeah.
I needed
So-
to
so
do,
that-
and it's $300
so right now
cheaper.
my
Yeah.
Ubiquity networking stack is running off of one of those, actually running off of a Trip Light larger one.
Yeah.
And then that's the 1500
VA.
VA. But then my ONT device for my fiber connection in has got the little small 600 VA APC version, or Amazon Basics version if you want to go even cheaper.
Right.
And that works because what we have an issue with on our place is not necessarily entire power outs, although that does happen more than we did in the old place. It's the brownouts
The
that
sags,
happens.
yeah.
It's like so.
Yeah.
I'll be on a
just wreaks
Teams
havoc
call
on machines.
You know,
yeah.
I'll be on a Teams call. I'll be having a conversation or doing something with Teams or something like that, and all of a sudden the whole lights just kind of go down and back up again, and nothing happens to my network,
Right.
Because my stack keeps on running.
Yeah.
It's power over Ethernet to different APs.
So they're all
And
protected.
so they're all protected, and then it's enough to handle the 5-second brownout that happens to be able to come back
Yeah.
on the live again.
to bridge.
Yep, it works great.
And the only other side of that is put a label on it when you bought it
Mhm.
and replace them
Yep.
every 3-4 years.
Yeah.
because the
Or
batteries.
swap out the
replaced.
batteries.
Yeah,
These ones
unless
all-
you get the ones that have swappable batteries.
Yeah, so the APC and the Amazons have swappable
Yeah.
batteries. So
And I have a place not far from my place that does core swaps where I
Oh,
bring in the
nice.
old battery pack.
Yep.
And they switch it for other batteries, and I get charged me the difference.
Nice.
And they tear the old batteries down.
Nice.
Yeah, so went through everything, and then I've discovered that. So I was going to use one of the Pro 6 APs, not the Enterprise one, but the step down for the area that needs the largest and
Yeah.
where everybody's going to be, and then 2 lights. Again,
To
the
fill
Wi-Fi
in the
6
ends,
lights.
yeah.
But now they've got a new version of the light, which apparently has more power to it, and can handle more things. So I'm going to get one of those that's on the beta sale site that you have
Yeah.
to log in and get to, and then one of the other pros. So I've got 3 access points. There'll be one upstairs, one downstairs, and then one outside. And then we were also talking about the in walls, which
Yeah.
are the AP and the switch.
And they've got 4 ports on them.
combined.
Yeah. So I've used that where we needed more, and I only put one. And so putting it there, and it's also a Wi-Fi point, and then there's 4 jacks.
Yeah,
on it.
there's one bedroom that
and they're
is
not
questionable.
ugly.
so-
No,
Like, they
there-
hide
there's-
the
there's-
ports underneath,
They're slightly
like-
larger than a regular low voltage port. You'd have hole in the wall.
Yeah.
They're definitely larger than the previous generations.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's got nice 4 additional ports. One of which I think is even
Is
PoE,
PoE.
if you needed
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
To be able to go off. So I got one of those in my office that then is mostly full, but then it has another cable that comes out to another little small 8-port switch that's on my desk for stuff.
Well, and of course, me being the geek that I am, I spent at least an hour and a half researching whether or not I really needed an L3 switch or if L2 was enough. So for my house, and I'm going, well, let's see. Well, everything MAC address based. I'm like, it's your house, dude. Really, L2 is good enough.
Well, what the problem with that Ubiquiti one is the whole AR. I hold up my phone and hover over the ports.
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
tells me which port
That's
is
nice.
which.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's pretty addicting. Like,
Yeah, but it's also another $400.
priced accordingly. But you'll forget about the money, but you'll love the phone.
Oh,
You'll
nice.
love the
every
fact that
time.
you did that, which of course are going to retire in 3 years anyway. So I'd just be like, well, it was cool when it lasted.
Yeah,
But
Oh.
so I think so I'm just going to go with the normal 16-port PoE switch. I don't
Yeah.
think I'm going to go with the Pro and the higher end version. I don't think it's
All this
necessary.
practicality comes to no good. It's
So-
just-
Well, that's because the wife has sent me a link to a set of nightstands that were $1,500. So it said, and there was no
Are they-
conversation about
no,
this.
no,
it's
it's
the
like,
link that says
we'll be
these
getting
will
this.
be coming next week.
Are they-
Yes.
Are they Wi-Fi enabled?
No,
Do
and
they have like key charging?
these are not
spots
the
on
thing.
them?
Listen, she's fretting enough that I want another Xbox. She's like, you can't get that because I don't have the series.
The
Series
S.
X.
You need
Yeah.
the S.
I have the S. I don't have the X.
Oh, okay.
And she's like, you can't get another one unless you sell one of the ones that you have.
What?
And I'm like, you can't sell this.
No.
I mean, it's an original Xbox. That's what I'm still playing. So
Yeah.
you know,
Vintage.
it's vintage. So yeah, that's been
Day one edition.
day one edition. That's what I've been working on.
Question that makes me a good point about the L3 stuff is you're going to have a bunch of IoT in that house, and you're going to probably want to VLAN it to carve those devices out so they
But you
control
still
what
do
they
that
have
on the
access to.
Mac. On the Mac side with layer 2.
Yeah, I guess, but
But the reality is, I only have 2 that I can think of IoT devices that I'm really concerned about.
time will pass, my
Mhm.
friend.
Well,
You-
But I went all in on it.
Eventually, we will get you into Home Assistant.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I went all in on it. Now I've unplugged all my assistants because, well, when working in the areas that I worked in,
Yeah.
they're like, "Yeah, you can't have that." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Well, yeah, true, can't have that in the office."
Or
And-
you can localize them on the network so they don't
Yeah.
have access to the world. Like
yeah,
that's the upside to having good networking is it comes pretty easy to keep them blocked and then decide when I'm going to give what device access out and
Yeah.
to get its updates, that kind of thing.
I'm still trying to get my brother, my daughters and son to go and to give the guest Wi-Fi access out to their
Right.
friends because they keep on giving the main one. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yes.
So I change it and then they just give it out to them again. I'm like,
Right.
there's a
The-
reason why I set up a
The problem
sponsor
here
page
is
on my
you
guest.
keep giving them the password. They could be guests too.
but they don't want to sign up for my monthly subscription charge to be able to use my guest Wi-Fi because of the page that I have up on my guest Wi-Fi. So and the payment for instead of cash is actually chores.
Right.
So you do your chores, then you'll be able to renew for the next month.
There you go.
So it doesn't work with the friends, unfortunately.
Jay will
Doesn't work
post the link saying that the Dream Wall is back in stock.
Have you seen these things?
I have seen the Dream Wall.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm guessing $1,000 system.
Mhm.
Well, it has all the ports though.
It's like
Yeah.
an end table, only different.
Yes. It's like
Yeah.
it's like you could actually put it up with a couple of legs to make it so it is like one of those old-fashioned surface tables.
Yeah.
So okay, I hadn't looked at this before. Now
It is
I'm-
shiny.
Yes.
okay.
He needs to revise his order now.
So this has 17 LAN ports, including 4 PoE
Mhm.
plus 4 PoE and 4 PoE plus and 4, so 12. Okay, that would work.
You got enough.
Yep.
1 10 gig SFP plus. Okay.
And a 2.5 for your WAN. So you
Yep.
have redundant high speed, above gigabit
Yeah.
connections.
This is such overkill,
Oh yeah. But it's
it's all in
shiny.
but it's cool.
It's all in one.
It's like,
That's the
sweetie, I
thing.
didn't get a rack unit. Like this is attractive too.
Yeah.
Like
well, but seriously, if you start you go with the Dream Machine,
Yep.
and then you add the switch,
Yep.
and then you've got to add
You got
the rack itself,
Yeah.
patch panel.
Mhm.
Mhm.
place for the modems.
I'll still need a patch panel though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could just go straight out of the wall and into the board.
It's not as
but
it's
it's
messy.
not as tidy.
It's messy.
I mean, the only reason you have a patch panel is you ever want to move anything.
Mhm.
The fact that everything's just going to be plugged in argues against it, right? You tie it against,
But
the back,
also for cleanliness, and it's
So
you know
you realize
you tie it
Buckeye
to the
J
back of the
Flow,
rack.
well, true,
against the
because
rail,
it's all back, and
and-
you just
and you
just
swing
flush it.
forward.
you have
Yeah.
just derailed his entire network install, and now he needs to rethink before he hits submit for his
There
cart.
you go.
So
Well,
now he's
it's-
considering.
So at this point,
So got to
it's-
work the numbers.
So yeah, I'd have to rework the number. I still need all the same access points though. It doesn't solve for that. but
No, it has
does solve
one
for this
AP in it, but it's going to
Yeah.
be in the closet, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
not where
and
you
that's
need it
not
anyway.
gonna
Yeah.
be the best thing. I do like the touchscreen. I mean, I think that's kind of cool.
But the argument is no rack. That's the
Yeah.
only argument.
No rack.
Is no rack. You
Nice
hang-
and tidy. One thing that's on the wall.
You hang a UPS on the wall.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
have to
next
put
to
the
it.
modem on something,
Yep.
Yep.
and then you have this thing.
Mhm.
No rack. If you still need a rack, don't do it. But if you
High-
can get away from it,
Aesthetics approval, 10 for 10.
well, that's
Easy.
the thing. At that point, you buy a white UPS.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Oh, yeah.
that's
Oh,
how into
100%.
it you are.
Yeah, you can't have them
100%.
color coding clashing.
I don't know.
I wonder if anybody's installed one of these in their home yet,
I
I'm
bet you-
sure-
I'm sure there's a YouTube
I'm
video.
sure there's YouTube video out
somewhere.
there.
Yeah.
We'll have it.
or some Reddit post or something.
If I had not already done my investment in my infrastructure stack, it'd be a wall.
I'm appreciating that we're an hour in on
Mhm.
beer money.
Yeah,
That
I know.
is a good day.
I know, eh? You got 6 minutes left in the show.
Oh, the show's going over today.
Yeah, I know.
The show's
show
going
is
over
crazy.
today. That's
Oh, wait,
just the way
do
it is.
do I have a meeting? Hang on a second.
I don't know. I
Hang on a
certainly
second.
hope you don't have a meeting. You're on campus. You don't have a laptop. Oh, you do have your laptop.
Mhm.
I mean, this is good. Look, what is the switch? What is the switch? An L2 switch or an L3 switch? What is it? Do we know?
I don't even know the answer to that.
Mhm. If only our chat room would tell us.
Clearly.
Who's researched this, chat?
Yeah, that'd be Buckeye J Flow.
Has anybody? Shady Sapena says, I think Troy Hunt just got one.
Of course he did.
Of course he did.
It goes with McLaren.
Yes. He was complaining he ran out of IP addresses with his last one.
Go Gadget 360 says, of course you need layer 3 just because you're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. Okay, I'll do more research.
Report back in the next show.
Well,
Which is
so
next week,
the original
right?
bill was pushing 1,100. So if
It will be an
Like I said,
incremental cost above.
If you can lay this out without having to buy all the rack hardware, it's legit, man. Because
yeah,
the Dream Machine SE isn't that much cheaper once you start talking about all the other parts that are involved.
I have to look at that.
Yeah. It's also now you're only talking about being 5-6 inches out from the wall rather than 18,
sticking out 18
right?
and
Exactly.
hitting your head or your
Well,
shins.
now the bad thing is the extra 6 feet I got in cable is
push it in the wall.
It can look
It's
at
all
the
right.
wall.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be hurt by extra cable.
Yeah.
Goodness knows. And if you comb it and coil it nicely, they're almost attractive.
You could braid them.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm like literally looking at the photos of this thing. And,
I know.
all the ports are at the bottom.
We are doing a show, eh?
All the ports are at the bottom.
There you go.
So, I mean, you see, this is
Oh no.
Yeah. That's good.
okay. All right. So that's both beer talk. Beer money and random spending all in one
Right.
time.
All
Because
at once.
but the reality is, well, I'm doing a ton of random spending. I also have been investigating the entire Sonos ecosystem because
Yeah, that's
The
a
new
big tip, too.
upgrades,
all the new
new
upgrades.
speakers,
new
the
speakers.
EOS or whatever they are, I
Yeah.
think they're called.
Yeah. Oh, they're gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love the new. So I'm going to get a couple of those. We're going to get the new sound, or both. It's not new. The ARC sound bar, and of course the
And
subwoofer, and then upstairs
we
the
just
Beam
got
and the
the-
new mini sub.
We just
Yeah.
got the notification from them that they're now supporting Dolby Atmos via Apple Music.
Yeah.
With the Sonos app
Yeah.
direct. Which is
But
another
the
upgrade to
one
it.
thing I was also investigating is potentially using their new Ray, the
Yep.
Sonos Ray,
I have
as
one.
a PC at the PC.
So
So are you doing it at the PC, or do you think it would be worthwhile having?
I put a Beam in on a PC.
You put the Beam. You went one step
I
higher.
went higher. Well, it's before the Ray was out. I now
Okay.
also have a Ray for another screen.
He also has a 75-inch single curve monitor in front of him when he's working.
The,
He needs-
43, but close enough. So here's why I went the Beam.
I was wondering
this-
why it looks so tan.
I know, eh?
This was the PC in the kitchen, which was
Ah.
originally when we built out that kitchen in 2008. It was an HP one, all in one.
All in one.
And she who must be obeyed loved it.
Mhm.
And so as that machine got cranky, I eventually replaced it with a Dell touchscreen and a NUC.
Okay.
But then she wanted TV.
Of course.
So then we got the cable box. So now you have to switch between them. Well, the Dell actually had 2 inputs, so that was great, but the audio was a pain in the butt. There's an audio out on, so we're doing HDMI into the screen, audio out from the screen up to an amplifier in the basement that didn't use the overhead speakers. Simple. Except now you're running this long 1/8-inch audio cable, and it had a 60 hertz hum we couldn't kill. Like we hunted and did everything we could to try and block that. So enter the Beam, and because it's got Toslink in.
Yeah.
And so I put
Optically,
an HDMI switcher down, put the computer source and the cable source into that, and it's got a Toslink out. That punched into the Beam. And so that Beam became the local speaker and then tied into the Sonos amp that was in the basement for the room speakers. And so that eliminated the noise. Everything was beautiful sync. The trick then is you have enough different devices that I got a little Broadcom IR blaster, so that when you can literally ask the voice device of your choice, and I would never say the name because I'm not that kind of person.
Yeah, you're nice,
Hey,
not right.
turn
not like
on
Greg.
turn on the news, and it will flip on the screen, switch the HDMI thing to the right mode, tell Sonos to turn on, set to the right mode, set at the right volume level, activate the right set of speakers, and then check the channel to the local news channel. That's of all of the stupid smart home stuff I've done throughout the house, and there's a lot. That's the one
that's the
she
moneymaker.
uses 2 or 3 times a day.
It's the moneymaker.
She uses it when she's making her coffee in the morning, and the news just turns on. She uses it over lunch. She uses it in the evening. Like, that one's legit more than anything else. The Sonos gear made the audio impeccable. And then when you want to rock out the house, you can.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm moving from the traditional Joey must have the best speakers known to man
Yeah.
audio thing to this, because the sound of Sonos is to that point.
And, and if there's any devices that you love still that you want in the loop, you get a Sonos Play, or what the hell is it called?
The
What?
the amp.
There's the one that has an amplifier and one that doesn't have an amplifier.
Right.
In it. The one without the amp, I got one of those so that we could still use the built-ins with the good amp.
Yeah.
And
We didn't put any built-ins in because the plan was, because I've got this
yeah, now that you've got a new
massive
place,
great room,
don't do
and
it.
so just put
Yeah.
the arc there.
Yeah.
Right.
The arc will
then
do
you
it.
can put a couple of
And if you want to throw a couple of ones or a couple of
Yeah.
threes behind it,
well, I'm going to get the new
new version
the new
of those.
100s,
and then
or
you
whatever they are.
and then the app you tell them, and again, when we get you into Home Assistant, which we'll win that battle eventually, the ability to reconfigure Sonos with a command. Because doing it with the app you can do, but it's fussy.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody else will do it. You'll do it. When
Well,
you
the
can, when
cool
you can
thing about the
program a
new-
macro for it.
Yeah, the cool thing is the new speakers actually have USB-C now, so
Yes.
you're not configuring them over Ethernet, which was always, I don't know if you've ever had a one go off and completely go off the reservation and
Oh,
not
yeah.
respond, and you've got to like
Go kick it.
connect it.
Yeah.
But I was really looking at doing because right now at the battle station, I
Mhm.
use my in-ears
Yeah.
98% of the time.
Sure.
But there are now times where I'm doing focus work and I just want to kick on something in the background and not have to put my ears in
Mhm.
and just like power through writing, workshop content or
Mhm.
slides or QBR stuff or all the management stuff that
Yeah.
we do. So I was looking, do I do a Ray soundbar as the PC speaker? Because it is it's going to be in a smaller room. If I really truly want the audio, I've got audio files, studio quality headphones, and my in-ears
Yeah.
that are basically $2,000.
But it is HDMI only, so you got to think about how you're going to wire it.
Well, no, so the Ray does optical in.
Oh, that's right. It's optical. So I put it on in a room with an Xbox, and I took the optical out of the Xbox to that.
Yep.
And then the HDMI to the screen, and that worked a chart. The question is, how you going to plug a PC into that? You got optical on that PC?
I've got optical out on the PC.
Beautiful.
The
Bum,
work
bum,
PC,
bum.
the work PC may not have optical out, but if I'm going to be doing audio and everything, like I don't have any of my audio apps or anything connected to the work PC. It's all on the other
And then
PC.
it's
that's in the
also
room,
a question of cord length. Like, can you get a long enough optical cable?
Well, it's
Depending on where things are.
yeah.
I'm the guy with the rack mounted workstations over in one corner, and
Oh,
then I
yeah.
have a wraparound desk. So I'm
Yeah.
running 20-foot USB cables, which is a riot.
No. I've got the 30-foot Thunderbolt cable
Yeah.
that I
Yeah,
bought.
you've got that Corning.
$300
Yeah.
30-foot freaking cable.
Yeah.
Whatever happened? Did you? So I was researching this, and the problem with that, the problem with the cable, is that the Thunderbolt expansion cards, if your motherboard doesn't have it built in, and even if it does, sometimes it doesn't have the ports. They're manufacturer specific. So if you have an Asus board, you've got to get the Asus card because it won't be compatible
No
without
kidding.
it. The same thing with the MSI. Well, the problem is the MSI card is out of stock, and it's been out of stock.
Probably
for
never be back.
months.
I'm an Asus guy. I don't have an
And when I bought my, I went with whatever NZXT put in my
Right.
in my amazing build that they built for me, not sponsored, but hey, we're open to it.
I tend to use Asus boards, but the last machine was an ASRock, for better or worse.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
So
not a
and they're
In the end, it's all
High caliber
Z790
quality.
chipsets, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So I've been talking to one of my twins, gamer girl. She's still rocking the Surface laptop that she had for school, but I'm like, you probably can use like a higher end gaming PC for this sort of stuff now. But she's like, thinking about it, don't really know. So I'm probably going to be finally putting together some pieces, because I've got multiple pieces of boards that I can go off and actually make systems out of that are all AMD, nice enough chips that can still use.
Yeah.
It's the A4 slot, so it got pretty good.
totally
Yeah.
fine.
Again, the same problem is still GPU being able to get a good one for a good price, but they're still coming down.
They're coming down.
So
If you're
too
brave
bad.
enough to buy them on eBay, there's some bargains up there to be had, but you just don't know what's happened. to
Oh
them.
yeah, just how long have they been in some forced labor camp?
And
of,
were they properly cooled
crunching.
while they were, right? Because if they were properly cooled, they're probably fine.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this particular situation is never going to happen again, because it would have been nice if if the boards had like a sensor on them that tripped red if it had been overheated.
Yeah.
You know, the same way you can put a shock
Oh,
sensor in a package.
Or
and
like
it's
the
50 Gs.
water sensor on
Water
phones.
sensor in a
Yeah,
I
phone.
just found out about those.
Yeah. When you're lying to the Apple store about whether it got wet.
No,
or
it's
not.
fine. It works great. It's,
Yeah.
I didn't
It's
charge
never
it.
been wet. Kind of looks
No,
like it's never
sorry.
wet. Yeah.
Security.
But yeah, you
Take
get
them
the
out.
double whammy of the Bitcoin miners, which is largely subsided because Bitcoin's mined out, and the pandemic, and so we have this weird little glitch in the matrix as far as.
Mhm.
So it seems chat seems to say go ahead with the Ray for the.
You know
for
what?
the
I'm with
subpart
them.
of it. Yeah.
It sounds amazing. If the wiring works for you,
Yep.
Yeah.
you will be astonished. There's no bad Sonos audio. There's lots of bad Sonos interfaces.
Mhm.
Yes.
But there's no bad Sonos audio.
Yeah, and the big
You
thing
can
for
get
me
it to
is,
play, you'll be happy.
and the thing for me is just it's part of the sound ecosystem.
Yep.
Right. Like I've
Yeah,
got this,
and then it
I've
plays
got this
with
$50
everything else.
piece of crap sound bar for like a mini TV that I got, and it works.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the butt to have to turn on, turn it off, and I can only use it in my office. That's
Yeah.
it. But I would like to be able to, like you, just simply say play,
Yeah.
and then it just plays my music.
And
And,
that-
then
and again,
when I need to, it then subs in and
Not
uses
that I
the
mean to
Teams call.
advocate for home assistance over and over again, but I can in HA speak to any Sonos device and pass any audio file I want to it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not that you could cause trouble with that.
No. No problems at all. No problems at all. So I've already made the decision to go away from, and I've already sold my SVS subwoofer, which was fantastic, and I loved it, and it went to a good home.
Yeah.
Gave it away for a little bit less, a lot less than I was hoping to get for it,
But
but
it
it
went-
was
it
went to
it's
a
gonna
to
get
a
used.
kid who came over from Bainbridge,
Oh wow.
and you know, he's just all fired. He's in his 20s and not like a kid, but he's all fired up about it because he's like, oh, I've got this. I forget what he got, something at Fry's like
Mhm.
before it closed, and,
Right.
and it was fine. But I'm like, no, you're gonna love this, but I
No,
still
you saw
have-
you 20 plus
That's
years
exactly
before,
right.
and when
Yeah.
I would have wanted this when I was you. Now you get
Now
this.
you get this,
Yeah.
and then
That's
I do
good karma,
still
man.
have the rest of the bookshelves in the rears that are, you know, an internet brand that I did far too much research on, and I didn't spend a ton of money, but it's still awesome.
No, they're good commits. You know, one of the rebuilding machines, I pulled the boards out of them. I've got one of the neighborhood kids wants to build his own computer now.
There
So
you
it's
go.
you buy a new chassis.
Yeah.
You buy all new spinning hardware. You're going to buy fans and a power supply and a hard drive. You're going to get this motherboard, CPU, cooler, and the RAM on it. It's 8th gen, but it's a pretty good machine for a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, he'll be all right.
Well, when we were
And a 1080.
when we were building the house, we seriously looked at doing in-wall,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then we were just like, but it doesn't make sense because we've got these Sonos devices that we're planning on. You know, we're going to have the sound
To me,
bar
the
in
only
there.
thing with in-wall is how tidy it is. Like,
Yeah.
you got to mount the Sonos as well, and then you are running AC and possibly ether to those locations,
Right,
wherever you're putting them.
already run,
Yeah.
which is, and again, so we have this huge, the kitchen, dining, and family is
Yeah.
all one room.
The width of the house.
So well, you've seen it's the whole
Yeah.
back side of the
Yeah, yeah,
house,
sure.
right? And so you put one of the Sonos devices. We use one Sonos device in the kitchen,
Yeah.
in our current house, and it pretty much plays
It's loud
the
enough.
entire downstairs. And then we've got one up in our upstairs in the room upstairs. And so I'm just like, well, we're going to put a beam in the upstairs game room because
Yeah.
I'm gonna be playing my Xbox on that. We're going to be playing, and half the time, in all honesty, when I'm playing Xbox, I've got the headphones on because we're swearing at each other.
Right.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the rest of the Canadians, we're all
Yes.
swearing at each other. I'm usually swearing at him. He's going, "You don't understand how to play a battle royale."
Nice.
Joey, you're in the wrong building. Get over here. Joey.
Yes, I know.
Joey.
I see
No,
where
for,
it's going.
for me,
It's
it's
fine.
for me,
Well,
it's like
and I got to think
Pierre,
these
Pierre,
new era
come on.
speakers, like the nice thing about the 1s and the 3s and stuff is all of the accessory hardware is available for them. What kind of stand do you want? Like
Yeah.
there's a dozen companies making stuff for it.
Right.
Eventually this will happen with the new ones, with the era speakers.
Oh, it's already.
and you'll be able to mount them the way you want to.
Yeah.
You just got to find the mounts. To me, it's always like, how do we put this in a place?
But
It's not gonna
most of
annoy
the
me.
time, it's literally sitting on a shelf or,
Yeah.
or a piece of furniture, and it blends
Yeah, it's just-
reasonably
it is
in because
part
most
of the
people
room.
don't realize that. Oh, that's a Sonos,
Yeah.
right? That's playing that. So
They're not unattractive.
No,
especially if you can
and
make
so and the theater stuff is good enough where I can just have the Arc, and
Yeah.
if I want to put a couple of those new
a couple of
systems
the
in the
eras
back
in the
for
back.
rears.
Yeah.
But I noticed that a lot of times when we're watching movies, we're not going the full,
Full out
the full out
immersion.
everything.
Yeah. I don't need the
thing
vibration seats.
anymore.
When we finally do Patch and Switch Canada, we go up to the Coast place. So what we did was we put a Ray under the Xbox on the screen, and then I have a pair of ones on pedestal stands behind. But the big thing with those ones is that you can pick them up and put them out on the patio, sitting in front of the ocean, and crank that.
Oh,
out.
see, there you go.
Yeah,
there in front of the smoker, right?
Yeah.
We're 10 minutes over time because we've completely gotten lost. So we should probably let people go. And I know you've got meetings around campus. I've got
a little time, but yes, absolutely.
So
beer talk, beer money. Just briefly.
You know what? I have. I was in Yakima, Yakistan. I did have a local beer there, and it was average. I guess the hotel had all the locals and everything was IPA.
Yeah.
And I tried a couple different ones and I was like, they are as average. Like they're just standard.
I mean, they were fresh because they were local beer.
Yeah, but it was like, it's pedestrian. And I'm not saying beers have to be special, but sometimes you just go, I don't know that I would have another one.
Yeah. It's just up
and
here.
then you go back to your, I know that Bodie's, they have Bodie there. And I'm like, if I'm going to just go, I'm just going to go back to the staple.
When I was in Marietta, Georgia, I was drinking Sweetwaters. Sweetwaters is based out of Atlanta. Very, very nice brewery. I've toured it a couple times when I was there. Not the last time I was there, but the previous time that I was there years ago. And again, not bad. Nothing standing out amazing. Got to go back for, but it was still very, very drinkable. Quite nice. We had our speaker dinner at the sports bar around the corner from the campus, which was quite nice. Had some good locals in there. Very good tots. Like, Brad Sams with the tots obsession that he has. The tots were quite good.
With Brad Sams?
Yeah. No, he wasn't there, but like if he was, he would have been having the tots. He'd been raving about them because they are quite good. And beer talk / beer money. We already talked about beer money, but I'm finally in the position where I think I have all the pieces to be able to do a dry run or a wet run with all of the brewery equipment in the garage.
You've been saying this.
I've been saying this for weeks, but I think I finally got the last pieces.
It is something to commit and start clean everything.
No,
get running.
Well, for me, I'm changing all my hoses.
Yeah.
I'm changing all the connectors to go brewery standard triple clamp or tri clamp hoses, which means I have to figure out, do I have all the right connections in all my pots? Oh, damn it. I need to have another one of these. I need to have another one of those. It takes a week for them to come in.
Yeah.
And all sort of stuff. So my last ones arrived. It was 2 whirlpools, which is a 90-degree curve with a double-ended triple clamp, which means that you can stick it inside the pot and then pump water through it, and it makes a whirlpool around the pot. So I got 2 of those finally. And I got my new CIP, clean in place. Can't wait for that. So you know how we always have to draw straws to figure out who's going to clean the pot with all the grain in the bottom of it at the end. Now you just put the lid on top that I have, put it in the CIP, and then turn on the pump and hope you don't scald yourself.
Yeah.
It spins around and cleans it all up for you, pulls it out of the bottom. So
there's now a debate. You've started a debate in chat because you talked about tots, and Go Gadget says tots are good food, and then Dave says, but are tots greater than cheese curds? Aspen says cheese curds if they're squeaky.
Yeah, you gotta have squeaky cheese curds, and that goes with poutine.
It's not cheese curds if they aren't squeaky.
Correct.
But tots and cheese curds go together just.
I was going to say. So I've been on a nacho kick, and I'm not talking about good nachos. I'm talking about the crap you get at like the 7-Eleven or at a stadium.
Like truck stop.
So when we were in Yakistan, we were in Yakistan and we were at the state dance tournament. It's in an arena. It's in the sun dome.
Fluorescent yellow cheese.
That's exactly the cheese product. It's not cheese. It's a cheese product with the canned jalapenos.
Been in a room with cheese.
It was shipped in a container truck that may have had cheese on it. Maybe. I walked into this and all I could talk about were these nachos. And the minute I got it, I was the happiest kid ever. And sometimes it's good to have those horrible things.
How to keep Joey calm.
Exactly. Dave was asking, are we in the building on campus? Yes, we are in the bunker. This is not a gun rack. It's actually a cabinet. Yeah. On the top shelf is a box for the Microsoft Star Lancer game.
Wow. And that's a V1 HoloLens. Generation 1 HoloLens.
Some CDs. What is it? It's Visual Studio 6.
Yeah. And is
1998.
I will draw attention to the shelf just above Joey's head, because that is the homage to Canada shelf.
Yes.
That is the airport grade maple syrup that used to be in my office that I donated to the studio. And that's also a picture of an event that Joey and I both did at some point in time back in 2013, 2014, which was a TechNet Internet or IaaS Day or something like that.
Yeah, TechNet Live or something.
That our friend Dan Pillion helped us put together. And there's Mary Jo, Golnaz, Seth, myself, yourself.
That is MJ.
Yeah, MJ's in there. And then what was the name of that? The one other woman that's next to me there. I forget her name. She was from the US sub.
Yes.
Oh,
US
wow.
sub marketing person, Crystal.
That's it.
But it's not Super Crystal.
No,
It's Crystal.
different person.
And she was in there too.
Somebody's complaining about Visual Basic for DOS. It's right over there.
Yes.
The VB6 box,
Yeah.
right over there.
So
We've got a Windows ME box.
Yeah, that's
Windows
that's
NT
a shame.
Workstation. Is that NT
Mhm.
Workstation? Is that?
That'd be 4.
Yeah, that would be 4.
Yeah.
We have a Bob box in our office.
Nice.
That is true. There's
That's
a box.
fantastic.
Yeah.
good old Windows Pro 2000 right there.
So I have not been drinking any beer because I generally don't drink beer. I
Mhm.
drink what beer wants to be when it grows up.
Bourbon.
And I have a distiller's edition of Glenlivet 12,
Mm.
which was a gift, which is very nice. I'm not a big Livet fan, but this is one of the versions you can only get at the distillery.
Interesting.
And it is a space side, not too potent, very drinkable, aged in sherry casks. Can't go wrong.
Nice. And to wrap up the beer money and beer talk with barbecue, because you are here after the show, I'm going to Costco to get a Wagyu version of brisket.
You're gonna get a brisket.
The Wagyu brisket, and I'm going to be doing some brisket stuff tonight for
I've
dinner
been
tomorrow.
I've been hankering to make corned beef for a while now. So
Mm.
the wife's going out of town next week. I suspect there'll be a brisket going
Be a
into
brisket
the
Nice.
action, yeah.
into the pickler for 3 weeks or so.
Dave from Crush Network says we need an air fryer show. Wife really wants to get one. Someone brought one to our house to try to sell me on it. Listen, I've got one.
Yeah, I've got one.
That's how I do wings.
I've got two.
So great at it.
There's
Yeah.
two in our house.
And
'Cause
the
you need
little
the basket
mini
style,
frozen
and
pizzas.
you need the oven style.
And yeah, you need the tray stuff.
You need
Yeah.
tray style and the basket
And
style.
that's stuff.
Yeah.
Got to do it. No,
Okay.
don't do it.
Won't fit in the Jayhawk.
There you go.
Wow.
That's
there you
legit.
go. Yeah, that's it, that's it.
Wait, did we pick words yet?
Oh
Sorry,
no, we
go-
should. We
yeah.
should
We-
pick 3 words.
Well, let Rich finish off his,
No,
his
no,
comment
we
there.
got one, and it's chicken wings is the obvious one. Like
Yes.
that's why you get an air fryer.
French fries for
But
me.
then you figure out, and also like leftover French fries. Like it will
Mhm. Oh.
rejuvenate fresh.
Oh yeah, like if you get some Chick-fil-A waffle fries,
Yeah.
and they're kind of soft
can
by
bring
the end of the
them
day, you can bring them back nice and
Yeah,
crispy.
and reheating pizza. Brilliant.
Oh, the best for reheating pizza.
yeah. Just
No matter what kind of pizza
bar
you
none.
got, no matter what kind of style and what family you belong to, it will do an amazing reheated pizza.
Listen.
On the tray style, not the basket style.
Right.
The basket style is only for fries.
yes.
So we have two.
Tots.
We have
Tots.
a long list of words.
We
Right
did,
on.
Man.
Hopefully they did some votes in there.
Yeah, we do. We have some votes, but you can go to patchandswitch.showbot.tv to vote, and I'll give you 10 seconds so that things link up because there's a delay between what we talk about and
Yeah.
when people
That's
actually
very
get
true.
it. But we've got words like Skynet, Q, BBQ, scary driving, trip it, frack layoffs, patch and switch panel, port count shame. I actually love that. Tots
That's
and
great.
curds, rich who? Question mark.
That's good.
Mean. That's
Nice.
mean.
But funny.
True.
Listen,
You're
Yeah.
sitting next to me. I
Yeah.
was just trying to be nice.
anytime people take me down a couple of notches is a good day because it can get the other way is creepier.
Yeah,
You're full of it. Yes, I am.
True. Wet and gray, home cluster, let it go, security co-pilot, brownouts, no rack, overtime, lying to Apple, sawdust, wet run, Rick Beer, brisket, coconut water, no sponsor, editors, auto
crowd's
chat,
great.
home server, Q server, 3D Clippy, Toslink, curds tray, and basket style.
Oh,
There you go. I love this thing. What is this leftover pizza you speak of?
it happens. It happens.
I'm going to go against some of the votes here. I think one of the things that we have to have is port shaming.
Port
Legit.
shaving.
Port count shame.
Port count shame.
Port count shame. I think lying to Apple has to be one. And we'll go with Rich Who
Yeah.
as well.
Rich
So
Who
for
works.
the next show. Scheduled show for next week
Yes, there is.
is the normal
Back on regular.
scheduling
Oh,
program.
good. I get
So
to just heckle from the audience.
you can
again.
heckle from chat.
You know, I will.
We appreciate everybody for logging in and chatting with us, and I'm going to see if I can possibly
Can you pull up the people that are still
get
left?
You know, I'm just going to go with the.
Do we have music?
You're in Canada.
Yeah, and I've completely lost
Pick some time.
the.
Take some time.
Yeah. Hang on.
I got it here.
All right, so Dave from Crush Networks, thanks to Aspen Forrester.
Nice.
Absablog and Lutely. Go Gadget 360, thanks for joining us on the program. Your contributions in chat have been fantastic. We'll also, I'm just going through who's in chat. TRP8472, Absablog and Lutely. We've said Aspen, chat.
There's a whole bunch of people.
Frederick.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Frederick.
Nice.
Kowski, Shadiest of Pandas, Vizio MVP, Womble Gooner,
Love the name.
Jan, of course, and everybody else for joining us. We'll see you next week right here on the Patch and Switch Show. We coming here? We're doing it from home.
I know.
We've got to figure out the focus issue anyway.
Yeah.
We'll see. Have a weekend, everybody.